World champions.
Of what? You see a nice hat I got.
Cavaliers.
I got a real nice hat. Army hat.
What did it say?
Spearhead in the front, on the sides. That was Army Reserve.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Oh, there you are. He's got you in focus.
Got me in focus.
Hocus pocus, you are in focus. Go ahead.
Go on.
You're the man.
Well, you're man.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hey, we got to give our little introduction first. Can you hold?
Sure.
Yep. This is Councilman Kazakotowski, and
Ron Stumpka.
I want to thank Ron for filling in because DJ's on, what do we call it, injured reserve, temporarily. And it's, as always, you can talk about anything you want except about that bill again.
But I'm right on that, Bill.
But no, you're not. But go ahead.
Okay, I'm ready. Isn't there any civility or decorum with City Council?
What do you mean?
Brennan's out offering deals, and he did this the last time for painting under the viaduct on the west side of town. Doesn't he sit down with you people and discuss this before he goes out looking for political points?
Well, he did send us emails. He was keeping us up to date on this one.
Is the mayor for this?
Well, we don't work for the mayor, number one.
No, he's not.
But
He
I would
should be in the loop, though.
Well, the mayor is in the loop. He's been meeting with, just so people know that there's a 3-person committee, which I'm a member of.
Right. Is
And we
Mr.
do-
Brennan on that committee?
And, pardon?
Is he on the committee?
No, he was president when he formed it. So we do allow him to, but he's not a member of it.
Well, the whole thing here, to me it looks like it's grandstanding.
Well,
you can go back to the water department and the water authority when city council give them 50 years to the authority when they give them a little bit of a piece of the ham, per se, and the city got the whole bone. You can't let the horse out of the cart before the cart, and that's what he's doing. He's putting the cart before the horse. I don't like this. It makes the mayor look bad. To me, it looks like it's a political ploy for him to throw his hat into the ring. Mirsky does the same thing at times.
As I said in the paper when he interviewed me, I said he presented it to us. He was writing us emails. He asked for our input.
I read your conversation with the Times News, and you're absolutely correct.
And that wasn't all my thing. I told him, I said, we have not decided. There's 7 people. My theory is, you saw the answer from the county. If Mr. Brennan tried to send him an olive branch, the comment by Mr. Faust tells you everything.
Yeah, they're not going to go for this. But the whole thing here is...
He kind of said, well, this is not going to gain any... You know what? They don't want to negotiate. And, yes, the committee has been meeting with the mayor. I mean, he's part of the... We're all part of the problem. I mean, not the problem, but the question. So the administration and council has been meeting. The mayor has not told us what to do. We tend to be right now in agreement because I look at it like, John, you know, we've given away the Civic Center, we gave away the Airport Authority, we gave away the Water Department, and how does that benefit the city? Now they want, no matter how they cut this baby, the city is still the major user of the transportation.
And I'm paying tax twice.
Right, you are. But I can't tell them, they don't believe that. They go, well, we give $330,000. Yes, you do, but 40% of that is city residents. And by the way, all city residents are county residents, but not all county residents are city residents.
Absolutely. I asked the mayor, I said, if you take the whole load, will that funding from state and federal government be available to the city? He said yes.
Yes, we are checking into it, and if that's the case, maybe, I'm just saying, maybe it's time that if they want truly regional government,
Well,
then how about...
I think you get regional government because there's too many little outside governments that don't want to get into...
Well, let's not call it that, John. Let's call it regionalism, okay?
Right, they won't want to get into it because in the city of Erie, there's over 40% non-taxables.
Right, but yet, you know what? People come here. I'm amazed. Like in the old days when we had the Civic Center, we were pumping in 100 and some thousand a year to take care of their shortfalls. That's when that was a lot of money. Today, we'd probably be talking a lot more than that.
And now we got the hotel tax.
Yeah, but we don't get the hotel tax.
And the convention center doesn't even pay off on the debt that they have with the city.
No, the city's in a terrible hole, and then they want to take, and now they want to take the bus company, have all the appointments. How do we know that they're going to have the what do you call it, the best interest of the city? You know, it's not going to affect me. I have a car.
True.
But there are a lot of people in the city that depend on it. By the way, you know, a lot of them go up to the mall to shop and to work. When is Mill Creek going to give more than $20,000?
Oh, it's Mill Creek. It's
$20,000.
They give a small amount.
That's not even a buck. They don't even give a buck a person.
And I recall when the county was running the lift service.
Yep.
That went belly up. They got rid of that in a hurry.
You know, the negotiation is when you get in the room and you talk, not when you hand somebody a piece of paper.
These guys don't want to do that.
What?
These guys counting. I think they want an authority just like they have the water authority. Make an authority, make a president, and no one can say nothing to them. Am I right?
What do you mean?
Make a regular authority like they have the water authority.
The MTA is an authority.
Yes, but then make it another authority, another way of doing it, wording it. And when you have something like they have the water authority, where they have no one to accountability to.
Well, the water authority is still accountable. They
accountable. They get raises, and
well,
my pet peeve. He knows what my pet peeves.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're responsible for it.
Right. City's responsible for all the authorities, with the exception of GEDIC.
Because we made them. They're independent authorities, which means the theory is that
they don't want any politics into it. But then again, you've got politics into it.
Oh, you do.
But the theory is that hopefully with independent businessmen running it, if they're left alone, they will do the right things.
You hope.
Well, you hope, but that's always the hope.
Well, all I want to know is I just want to let you know I'm not in favor of this, and I'll make my thoughts known on all the various situations. And I already told the mayor I was for him 100%, which I very rarely am for him 100%.
I know, and you know what, John? He's been good about it. He's been keeping us in the loop, and we all feel like, you know, this was like all of a sudden it came up quick. It was in the paper, never discussed.
That's what's wrong with it. I mean, it's totally wrong. In that liberal newspaper we have down there, that you get your news a day late all the time.
Yeah.
You can't tell them anything. Just like the Mercyhurst deal. They put that on the air, and in the newspaper, Mercyhurst wanted to give X amount of dollars. Well, Mercyhurst had this money available long before the last couple of weeks.
You mean the fireworks?
Right. It's just a ploy.
Yeah, and then you read people that said Mr. Rocco's, goofing up, but you can't get anything done in time.
He's doing one hell of a job.
Do you know how long? I mean, we have to. If we're going to have fireworks...
Yeah, it takes you 4 or 5 months to get everything in line.
Well, you have to line up police... I mean, who do you think pays for the police protection? They have to be rescheduled. You got to get fire trucks down there. You want to have a plan of where they're going to be fired. You know, all that. And you know what? If people want fireworks, then get it out of the casino money, or one of the townships that are doing better, let them blow them up. Or go to Waldemere like I did the other day.
Well, they got Waldemere. You got even don't they have the Presque Isle? Don't they have fireworks too?
Yeah, go to Waldemere. Mr. Nelson will appreciate it. Buy a pop over there, right, John?
The whole thing here, there's going to be more fireworks in the city than the law allows, and a lot of these are more than Class 3 fireworks.
Oh, you know it. Just
the police should go out and cite these people, and you know and I know that night they're taking it easy on the citizens.
Oh, yeah. There's some heavy artillery out there now, though.
But when you get somebody that gets killed and it makes national news, they'll wonder why they didn't go out and do their jobs right. They have more things to do. It's just like Brendan said, well, we're going to find room for a code enforcement officer, the kids and all that. We have a general fund. where the money should be coming out of the general fund, and that stuff should be all negotiated in November.
Right. You know what I told the county? I said, I passed the word along to them through one of their emissaries, and I said, you know, like David wanted $1 million to $2 million, right?
Yeah, it was $2 million.
I said, give me $1.5 million every year.
That's right.
Then we'll talk about regionalism. You know, that'll take care of all the tax money and et cetera that we've lost over the years. And when Miller Brothers moved, that's taxable property, right?
That's true.
You don't see that. You know, they all say, "Gee, that's nice." That you know.
Miller Brothers moved Kohler. He was paying tax on that building.
Well, yeah, put that project out in Mill Creek. See if they're happy with it.
We had the Kohler project. We had the Juice project. The
What was that guy's name that left town?
And Tullio, he wrecked the whole downtown with that Transitway Mall because everybody was forced to leave. So,
That wheelchair.
well, I'll get off the air, and if nobody calls, I'll call back and vent some more.
Okay, no problem.
Who was that guy that took care of that Kohler beer?
Brad.
He tore it down and he left town.
Brad something. It'll come back to me.
That was an historical site. Yeah.
Well, the governor came down there with him.
To tear it down.
No, to give us money, supposedly. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Cass.
Hey, what's up?
I just was wondering, did they ever give you any kind of report that there was this poll or survey taken of any of the bus riders, whether they would agree with the county taking over the transitway?
I think the people that took that poll was not the EMTA. That was a group of independent people.
But that's just it. They don't take the poll of the people who use the stuff to determine whether it's good to do what they want to do with it.
Yeah, I don't think EMTA did that poll. I think that was what do you call it? A group of independent people that ride the bus.
Well, I never, as much as I ride the bus, not one question was ever asked to me, and I've asked many people on the buses I've ridden from east side to west side of the city, and no one ever been approached by a pollster as to whether they would appreciate the county taking over the EMTA.
Well, the one thing is, we can easily put an advisory board in there if that's what the people want. That's not a big deal. That could be done. I don't think anybody ever thought about it.
Well, I tell you what, remember when they took it off the Transitway Mall? There's still a lot of people who are still upset with that. Because
I'm upset because I think...
With Haggard, for even myself, I have a problem sometimes getting from Peach Street to French Street to go get the bus to return home.
Well, I'm upset because I think...
because of the way the traffic flows on State Street. Yeah, they took the buses off and traffic increases speed and riskiness now.
And not only that, French Street, when you have a show at the Warner or something like that, and then you put buses in there too, and it's like it crams up that street, it makes it rather tight to get around. I never was in favor of taking it off the main drag.
Whose idea was that?
That was a couple businessmen that got to the administration and then the newspaper, and then got to the EMTA board. And
there's another thing too. Those bus places where you wait for the bus. If you notice, they changed the style of them. They're all open on one side now.
Yeah.
They don't protect you from any kind of weather. Like the old ones, at least they had a partition in the front where we entered in one on either end. But at least you could stand in the middle if it was blowing rain or blowing snow and you weren't being hit and gotten wet. Now, the way they have them designed now, you can't get wet or snow covered while you're waiting for the bus.
Supposedly the problem was people that were doing undesirable things, and some of the businesses were starting to complain. One in particular, which is not downtown anymore, and that could have been solved by. This comes down to the old problem about we could use a couple more either police officers or off-duty police officers patrolling the downtown area. For such things as I'm not saying I favor or not, but people get a little tired about panhandling and people that are just hanging around and
I've had more panhandling now because of the buses on French Street. I get hit more. So far since they changed it, I've been hit about 7 times.
Yeah, people, and some people that go out at night, they want to be left alone. They want to be able to come out.
After 5 o'clock, what do you have downtown? Nothing.
You got some restaurants, but
that's it, restaurant. You're worried about restaurant. How many jobs are we losing at GE? And it just teased me off.
Wait a minute. If I bring my wife to a restaurant downtown.
Okay, I got another call coming in. I'll call you after.
Okay, if I take my wife out, and I want to go to a show or something, or I want to go down to the, Cloud 9 or someplace, or in the old days, Puffer Belly. We got a brewery opening up now, and
it's already terrible.
Where it's going to be opening up in the Boston store. But I mean, people want to be left alone. When they come out, they want to be able to get back to their car. They don't want to be hassled, okay? Not even in the daytime. Try in the daytime. I mean, there's a quality of life issue that most big towns, I just got back from Savannah. They got signs all over the place. No panhandling, no loitering. Go down here, you got the same signs.
But no one's taking.
Well, they do call some of the with the child care downtown. Some of them they will call the police because they can't have people just hanging around. It doesn't look good. Doesn't give anybody any confidence. Look, I'm sorry they're in the mood. They're in the shape they're in, but that is something you can't. You're trying to develop downtown. People come down there to have a nice meal, get dressed up. You don't see that at the mall, do you, that much?
No.
So, I mean, I got panhandle in church. Now, that's a new one, but no, I know what you're saying, but he brings up a good point. I don't think moving the buses off State Street was a good idea. Doesn't solve anything.
Right. Try and get them back now, City Council.
Go ahead, caller.
Project deal with Brad Fairfield. The juice plant was Fish.
Yep, you're right. Brad. I knew his name was Brad, and I couldn't remember the last name.
And his wife, I guess, signed I want to say a liability clause or whatever. And to the good wisdom of City Council, they left him off the hook. And Brad Fish, he died, and there's no repercussion if you live in Florida. That's where his residence was.
Wow, that was the juice guy, right?
Yeah.
I remember.
So there's so many loopholes. We have to stop, or we have to start learning how to close those loopholes.
I remember, John, the day that the governor came in.
Brendel.
Yep, and he was bringing Fairfield with him.
No, he brought Fish.
Yeah, I think he brought. No, this one was at the Kohler plant, so he had Fairfield too.
It was the juice plant he brought in and recommended.
Yeah, but he also brought in Fairfield.
And you had Urbaniac, and then everything else was going to get into it.
Yeah, we were sitting in the bombed-out portion of, I think, where the keg house was. There was no roof in there at the time, just, like the walls were there.
You were out in front, I believe, there.
And we were, like, in a big room in there,
Right.
And they were talking, this is going to be, in 2 or 3 years, you're going to see this? Yeah, yep. My Legion Club went bankrupt because of it.
True.
We had to do so many studies to try to find a place to move.
And where are all those historic memorabilia?
The last thing I heard...
Over on McClellan Avenue.
Yeah, I will tell you off the air, because if I tell you...
I know.
You have a good... I think I told you once, remember?
You might have.
Jimmy E. Thompson found out, at least that's the last location.
There's a lot of nice memorabilia floating around all over. Cannons and park benches and who knows.
If they're still there, it's a shame. Of course, the building was bought, I think, by them, right?
Yep.
So they own the artifacts, but, the proper thing to do is to give it back,
Right, give it back and let's go with it. So.
I remember one time they were going to take the clock in the Boston store and put it in the Civic Center.
Yeah.
In the lobby, but the problem was the lobby's not big enough.
Well, maybe Yabba Dabba Doo will restore it.
But, whatever it is, I mean, it's a landmark in Erie,
Well, voodoo now, we'll see how long they last.
Yeah, but here's an interesting thing.
I hope they do. I hope they make it.
Here, you got Erie Brewing who's left because they don't like our tax base.
No, they went to Harbor Creek.
Right, but then here's Voodoo from out of town brewery, Titusville, isn't it, John?
Yeah.
Come in here and they have more faith in our downtown than some of the people who live here. So, I'm going to support them. I really am. I don't drink beer that much, but I will once in a while stop in there.
Well, I never drank St. Mary's beer either.
What, Straub's?
Yeah.
I always got a cold one on my refrigerator.
Do you really?
Yeah, my wife's from there.
I call it Panther.
My wife's from there.
So, were your wife's in Sykesville?
No, she was at St. Mary's.
Well, right around the corner. They so associated everything with St. Mary's.
Right, who's in Sykesville?
Well, I had a friend that I worked with. He was from Sykesville. And every time we'd go down that way, we'd stop at that one little bar in Punxsutawney there and have his straws. And I couldn't have it.
Yeah, you gotta have a little greenie. That's when you're...
Yeah, I like the Yingling Stout.
I'll tell you a story about when I was in the Army about Yangling.
Oh, you will? Okay. Yeah. I'll talk to you later.
It's what the locals thought of it.
Yeah, and I understand.
Yeah, I don't want to put it over, but there it is.
What?
That's where the artifacts are.
Where?
I don't want them to get, if they know I know, you know. Go ahead, caller.
Kaz, I want to tell you, they're doing a hell of a job on the streets.
Well, I don't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, what streets are they doing this year?
Well, there's a list.
I know, I've been asking about Marion Street and Davison.
Well, want me to go get the... go in. Well, you can't go. You're
I can't
hobbled.
go. I'm hopping along.
I'll go get you a list and I'll try to see. Which one are you looking for? Are you there yet?
I'm looking for nothing.
Oh, do you like what they're doing?
Yeah, I like what they're doing. Lee and Steve are doing a hell of a good job.
Yeah, I'd like to put a few more roads on that list, but...
I thought 38th Street was going to be done by the state.
That's going to be probably next year with the Commonwealth.
Didn't that mention?
Well, the state does 38th Street.
Right.
What the hell are they talking about?
What do you mean? Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
I think we got cut off. Go ahead.
Hi, this is a new caller.
Okay, we kind of lost the other one.
Yeah, I'm a little upset here. I thought I lived in a pretty good neighborhood. I live on Upper East Avenue. You probably recognize my voice.
Yeah.
Sometime between 11 o'clock Thursday night and 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, I noticed my two hanging plants on the front of the house were gone. Now, these weren't regular ones you buy at the store. I had the ones with the metal cage with the moss in it, and I had the plants inside that.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. Some SOB took them both.
Did you, I mean, it's probably not, did you even bother calling the police, or?
Even bother. I mean, what are they going to do?
I know, that's disgusting, though, but...
About 5 years ago, I got two little American flags on my fence out front. Somebody took those. I had to wire those to my bracket. So nobody takes those. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, they got I had a bird bath, and I came back, and it was gone. And, you know, we go to the neighborhood watch meetings. You live above 38th on East Avenue?
No, below.
About where?
5.
Pardon?
35th.
Oh, yeah, well, you're not in that watch area, but, you know, generally there's not that much theft going on that's reported, but, you know, a lot of things are changing now, and it's not for the better.
No, I give up on 38th Street.
I mean, you know, you put stuff out front, you figure, like, you know, it can be left alone, but, you know, people come by and they steal things. I don't get it.
The thing of it is, if they took it during the middle of the night, they had to be awful quiet, because my bedroom windows were wide open, and it's 5 feet away from the plants. I have no idea. No idea. I just give up.
What kind of flowers were they?
They're hanging petunias. Okay, that's my beef.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think somebody somewhere is having... You hope they enjoy themselves with their...
Hope they... Never mind. I don't want to say it over the phone.
I don't blame you.
Okay. Have a good day.
I'll keep an eye out, but chances are we'll never find them.
I took a ride the other day and up and down the streets around here, but I don't know if it was somebody that drives by going home from work, or happened to spot them and they figured they hit him at night or what. I have no idea.
I doubt if it's like college kids, because they're all home now, you know. So chances are it's either, you know, young kids monkeying around, or just somebody that liked what it looked like and decided, you know, you were going to make a contribution to them.
All see it because I don't want to see it over the phone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
That's disgusting. It really is. It's like
When I was a
stealing
kid-
up.
when
It's
I
like
lived
stealing
on
off a cemetery. You know
You
that?
know, when I was growing up in 18th Street, we used to have the doors wide open.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
You could do anything on 18th. People were great.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, it's me again. I had to take a call from Washington, D.C. Question, I talked to the mayor there Friday about the fireworks that one other caller you had there in our area seemed to be better than even what they would put off down in the bay. I don't know if it would make the listener chuckle, but if I, in my younger years, had my eyesight, I'm more or less thinking, that'd be great skeet shooting and shoot some of those fireworks out of the sky as they go up. But anyway, I'm hoping that the city enforces that a bit more this year, because it's getting out of hand.
What's that, the
Too
fireworks?
many areas are shooting up illegal fireworks all the time here in the city.
Well, I tell you what, I got a great show up where I live, and I mean these are not your run-of-the-mill rockets either.
No, that's the same thing. And it's not just one day. It might be 3 or 4 days you got all this going on.
I will say that the neighbors that fired up by my house were pretty good. They fired them up for when it got dark. They did it for about a 2-hour period, and they fired them all off, and that was it.
They shoot them over your house?
No, they found an open field like.
See, that's not the case in mine. They're off at 30th Street between German and Holland, or German and Old French here, and they're shooting them over onto the Old French Road. Last year, actually, my neighbors can tell you, there were cars stopping on Old French to bust off cinders falling on their hood of their car and windshield.
Yeah.
So, it's not only illegal, but it's dangerous. So, but these people down on the street, they don't care. And I know I called them, and they supposedly had a crew that went down, but didn't do anything.
Well, in the old days, the police had time to do that, but now they got
Too much.
they got real popping sounds in it. It has nothing to do with fireworks.
I know, and that's why I'm wondering if we can call in and say there's gun shooting going on, and maybe they'll come and check out the fight.
Oh, you don't want to do that. I mean, those guys are. I mean,
That's,
they got enough to worry about. But I know I agree with you. Just people would fire them for a couple hours, and then do it in a safe manner, and then knock it off. But
mine start at 10, and they'll last till 2 o'clock in the morning.
and sometimes they go on for 3-4 days.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. And that's where I feel, okay, 1 day I can put up with. But 3 or 4 days, till 2 o'clock in the morning, still trying to fire off fireworks, and you're trying to go to sleep, nah. I draw a line there.
Then the dogs all go nuts.
So,
Yeah, people are mad because the city didn't pay for the fireworks, but we haven't paid for fireworks in a number of years.
Who paid for it last year?
I can't remember. It was
yeah, part of it was the Warner Shore money and stuff.
yeah, I think 1 year was Roaring Shore, another year Barbara Chafee raised some money.
Right. Well, last year was the Jefferson Society.
Yeah, there you go.
Memory of the War of 1812.
But we haven't had fireworks at the city paid for in many years. Now people point out, well, you got them at Celebrate Erie, but those are all paid for by contributors.
Right. Like I said, that one night, that's fine. I mean, as long as we know it's going to happen. But, even in my neighborhood, you got dogs that are barking and because it bothered their ears. And so, 2 or 3 days in a row, it's supposed to be against the city code of some sort, but nobody enforces it.
But it's one of those laws that, they got it there if they want to do it, but they'd be running around all night and they're just, in the old days they could do that, when they got really out of hand, but right now it's like they got bigger problems than worrying about, I hate to say that, but that's what it is.
The other thing I want you to be aware of is, and this is feedback I'm getting from people downtown, State Street seems to be turning into Skid Row.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it, and I think that's why, if you read the report that Mr. Buki put out, that was part of the deal. That we got a problem, and the town is looking a little bit raggedy, and
Especially downtown.
yeah, and there was a couple comments made by businesses downtown that are they're getting a little fed up, it's one thing to have people that need services, but when you have people hanging around panhandling and
It's like on Perry Square now. You got a lot of people just
Yeah.
sitting around all day long.
yeah, and
And you can't blame them. They're at that Richford Hotel there used to be, and you got the Boston.
well, if you're sitting there minding your own business, that's okay.
yeah,
but
but still, it's a bad scene for Erie.
Well, the other thing, where they had the gazebo, I have not wandered over to that area. They took the gazebo out. What did they put in this place? Anything?
nothing right now. Just I think that's just going to be a walkway. I'm not sure if they're going to put flowers or anything. Couldn't remember.
Is that on the east side or west side?
Be on the west
The
side.
gazebo's on the
Oh,
west
the
side.
west side, yeah.
Because the east side's going to be the fountain renewal.
They used to have a fountain on that west side, remember?
Yeah, they did, and I found a fountain. What's left of it?
Uh-huh.
They took it up to Marsh Street Garage, and that's the last it was seen.
Right, that's what I remember. They were taking it up.
Because we
that
got
way.
pictures in our Gannon yearbook, remember?
It would be nice if they put something like that back in there.
Actually, remember our Gannon yearbook had them in there, Doc.
Oh,
They had a picture of the park like that.
oh yeah.
How much did they sink into that? West Park, 10 million?
That was all grant money, a lot of it.
But still, it's still money, taxpayers' money.
Yeah, but you know what? The government puts it out there for
That's
parks.
why this government's so screwed up right now.
Well, that's what they
They're
do.
giving money to everybody.
But that fountain, Doc, I mean, the reason why they got rid of the what do you call it, gazebo?
Yeah.
It was getting to be a hangout for undesirable things.
But here, you got this one
Yeah.
here, you got it chained up, now you got a
Well,
fence.
because they don't want people hanging around inside there.
I think that was a good location and everything. People go all the way around,
Where?
listen to the bangs, the gazebo they had.
The gazebo was nice, but it was hard. What it turned into was, I'll put it straight to you. People were in there shooting up and everything.
Well, you know, the new stage that they have set up there, they could use that in other ways now. I mean, the way it's set up, they could actually use it for advertising upcoming events.
Well, they could. I mean, they used it the other day. They had, I seen some people there. They were using it for a rally.
Right.
And what they want to do is get the grass set a little bit first. But eventually, the way they're designed the park, if you look at it from the air, it's like a big circle. So people are going to be able to sit back on that wall in the East Park, and the street will be able to be closed off for certain events. They had to lock it up because they got rooms in there
Yeah.
with equipment, and you can't have people hanging around all night. I mean, you have people sleeping in there and everything. I mean, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's, I noticed that the sitting area, they took away the park benches by doing that, which is,
I think the benches are coming back.
Well, I hope they do, because they're a little bit more comfortable than those concrete pads.
Yeah, but hey, try going to Buckingham Fountain in Chicago and laying around in there. See what they do to you.
I'm not suggesting that we do that.
No, I'm just saying,
Just to sit there, when it gets water, wet from rain and that, now you're going to sit in the water.
No, I hope they bring the benches back. I'll ask Mr. Mitchell. Last time I asked them, they said they were going to bring it back when the park was done. They were going to bring it back slowly.
That'd be nice if they did.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, like in the afternoon, a lot of workers like to go there and sit down, read a book, et cetera, and have a coffee or a sandwich. You got a lot of the food vendors now around the park.
Well, I sit down here once in a while. I don't go down here every day, but maybe about once a week I might be down here. And of course, I'm just an old man in a bench in the park there. But there's no more squirrels. You don't see the birds anymore so much. Even the pigeons are around. Like you used to be able to throw out corn for the birds, something there. They're not there.
Why? Because of the trees they took down. There was a lot of old trees in that park.
They got rid of them. They took the squirrels out of them, I think, that way. I miss going, like when I went to Washington, D.C. there. They got those black squirrels. Man, they come out of the woodwork when you got tossed out some nuts or even French fries like that. They love them. Mm-hmm. So, that to me is a park. This is, I don't know, it's just not what it should be in my mind. But anyhow, that's what they got to work on, getting that. But downtown, it's not. I hope that they change it in a way that makes it more user friendly. Right now, it's okay for the motorcycles. They got a lot of stuff there for them.
Yeah, I think long range, we got to, that's part of that's that downtown district. We have to kind of sit down and decide what we're going to do. I'm not happy with everything. Some of the things are nice, but, there's got to be a balance for everybody.
Oh, there is. There has to be. I mean, here's another thing we could probably do, and maybe it might be something you can check around. How does Gannon youth feel about that area? I mean, do they hang out there? I know they got their places, but how do they feel about using the park?
You mean the Gannon kids?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see Gannon kids. They might walk down to some of the bars during weekend, but they don't seem to. You don't find them hanging around in the park anywhere.
No, they got now the Gannon Gannon's different than when you and I went there.
Oh yeah.
Now a lot of these kids are working out in the rec center over there, and then they have the student union, which is a lot better than we had.
The old Antlers.
Oh, yeah, they got all that stuff.
Yeah, they got the Antlers is now what it was, a coffee shop.
It was a bar.
It's a bar now?
It was a bar.
Yeah, but I mean, it turned into a coffee shop for a while. So they got a lot of options on campus now that we didn't have.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of the kids are working out. They're either down at the gym or not hanging around the park like we did in the old. It's a different world. So I don't think they're using as much as really, when you think about it, the only people who really use it outside the events is people at lunchtime around here.
We need to get something because you got the users at Gannon, and then you have all the senior citizen high-rise apartments here. You need something that they could enjoy. Maybe they can, if they have some kind of like they do have some during the week programs for even a senior citizen to go down and enjoy some of the old music and whatever. But maybe more activities that could keep the senior citizens enjoying the area there.
Well, years ago, like when some towns you would see like artists working the sidewalks or little things, and so people would come down and walk around it. Erie's not like that for some strange reason. It just doesn't have a lot of
Well, you don't get the vendors, like even a popcorn vendor. That would be nice for a change once in a while.
Well, the food vendors are there, but they pretty much leave when after the lunch crowd. That's it. They're pretty much gone unless there's something going on down here. But we'll get 3 or 4 food trucks down there.
I'll have to get some of the other callers in. I'm going to try to restrict myself to 5 minutes on the phone line with you.
Okay.
That way other callers can make it in. But anyway, thanks again for taking my call.
Okay, thanks, Doc.
Fireworks taken care of. All right.
Sounds like he's...
How are they still doing with them lights up there?
What do you mean?
Comedy Club area. From 13th Street to the underpass.
I haven't got an update on
You
that.
only see anything at night.
No, I don't... Well, they addressed it, but I don't think they addressed it the way we want it.
Well, I think you guys should bring it up on this
Go ahead,
city
caller.
council.
When you call code enforcement, a lot of times you're asked to leave a voicemail with your message and your name and your number.
Right.
How long should it take them to get back to you?
I would say, with at least with an acknowledgement, I would think they should do it at least unless you called late in the day. I would say I would expect them to call you back the same day.
All right.
Wait, well, how long did you take?
Oh, it's been over a week and nobody's called me back yet.
No, that's not. I would go along with if they were busy the next day. When I ran my office, which was a controller's office, and I made sure that somebody either took the call or acknowledged it. There were very few times when you ever got an answering machine in my office. Somebody was either always on. What time did you call, ma'am?
I don't recall. I really don't remember, but I know it's been over a week ago.
Well, they start an hour early and they quit an hour early, and that's because of that's with people coming in to pay permits and stuff. So they would close an hour early, but there's still no excuse for not calling you either that day or the next day, even if they can't give you an answer. Just to say, we got your message and I will pass it along or something. Do you want me to check on it for you?
I'll just try calling again and I'll let you know.
Yeah, because that's not right. I mean, they're busy, but not that busy that they can't at least acknowledge you the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, next day at the very least, not a week.
Well, because when I called, they connected me with the person that was in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I left a voicemail message of what the problem was, my name and number, and never got a response.
Yeah, a week's pretty. I mean, the problem could be over in a week. Yeah, that's a little too long.
Okay, I'll try calling back. Thanks.
Yeah, and you can always call me, and I'll be glad to walk up for you and give it in person then.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, what's going on with the school board?
I don't know. That's not my baby, but
Yeah, but you work there. You know a lot of people. What's going on?
no, I don't talk to him anymore. I've been staying away from that problem. That's
Like I said, that one guy said if they make their pay their health care, he said that would pay for $5 million. That would
look
take.
at Brad Roy. You want to know? You want to know something?
I'm just asking.
It's the same people that told us, and they're right. If we would have fired one of Jim Barker's assistants, okay, we would have fired a couple people. That's a one-time savings. Okay.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's a permanent savings, but here's the problem. And the late Ron Comoric at the city, he and I went to Gannon together. We studied accounting, and he told me something that was very wise. And he was right, and I could see it. I can see it now. If we did everything right in the city, everything, we made no mistakes, all the money we hope will come in comes in, we hold the budget line and everything, we're still going to be in trouble. Even if we do everything right. There are things you can't control. You can't control utilities. You can't control, a lot of times you can't even control wages. I know people think you can, but when you're dealing with arbitration, that's a whole different baby. It's not like when you're a GE, okay? They don't bring arbitrators in.
No, they just negotiate. That's it.
If they do bring it in, it's negotiated arbitration. Here it's mandated. Okay, they come in, they go, you will pay, and you will pay. That's it. You pay. You can't say, like the school district, they can't say to a charter school that we can't afford you. The state don't want to hear that. The state's going to take your money right out of
They
here.
didn't realize how much money it's costing. Now they do.
Well, we always knew that. Let me tell you something. I was there the first one. They voted on. Voted no. We voted no again. We kept voting no, but then there's an appeal process where it's out of our hands. It goes to Harrisburg, it gets appealed, and they decide, well, why are you not okaying it? Okay, if you have a good reason, that's fine. If you don't, you're going to get it anyway. Then what they do, they take the money out of what they call the per pupil subsidy. That's the amount of money they're debating now about the funding formula. So every time they take a kid out, they take so much money. Now the problem with that is, if you took all the kids out of one classroom, you could have real savings. You could eliminate the teaching position. You might even eliminate the school. But they're picking up one kid out of here, one kid out of here. It's hard to make any savings. And then the school district has to pay for bus transportation, nurse services, remedial services, even in a private school. And then when you have a funding formula that's either not being given properly or not even given at all when we had the budget impasse, where does that money come from? The treasurer, to her credit, was giving the money to them as fast as she could. She knew they were in a problem. She worked hard to get them all the cash they could get, from people paying in advance. Because if you have to take a loan, and we had to when I was on the school board, you don't like doing it. It's called a tran loan. You take that out in lieu of till your taxes come in. It's a short-term loan, but it still costs you interest. The city now hasn't done that in a number of years. We've been pretty good. We've been keeping our budget in line. We haven't had to borrow money in the beginning of the year like we always did, because we have some surpluses left that carry you through the next year. So the school district, there's a lot of problems. The funding formula, Brad Roy, yeah, $5 million out, yeah. But what's going to happen next year when, salaries are going to go up, the state's going to put more programs in there, utilities are going to go up, all kinds of costs are going to go up. More kids are going to come in the district. They're bringing over more immigrants all the time. We're getting those, not
Who's
Northwestern.
paying for it? Us.
Not Northwestern, they're not getting them. Private schools aren't getting them as much. Brad Roy, I think he looks at things simplistically. Yeah, you'll save $5 million initially. That'll get you through this year. What's going to, how about next year? It's like when we sold the water authority. We took all that money up front. You blew it in 1 year.
How much money we get?
When, initially?
Yeah.
I can't. That was before my time, but here's a prime
by
example.
your time.
Take Mill Creek. They're going to get $12 million up front
Up front.
and $1 million a year for 10 years. Okay? And they're thinking, what do I do with it? Well, you know what? You can do what we did. We have a water reserve account, but then certain people went in there and started tapping into it. So that's the problem. When you take upfront one-time money, and that's what that is. $22 million is one-time money.
And that water department's going to make all kinds of money off that.
Well, but that you got to remember, water department didn't approach Mill Creek.
Oh, Mill Creek wanted to get greedy.
They wanted to approach the water authority. In fairness to the water authority, they're not there to give away water.
No.
Because you know what? At the end of the day, you know who's responsible for that bill? The city's enabling.
How much does the water department give the city out of their funds there, roughly? 15, 20 million?
No, that was Flippy did a deal. I'm going to have to check into it. He did a deal where he took some money up front. Otherwise, we would have got so much every year. I'll get you the number. Because what happened was, I didn't like it when they did it. They were short 1 year, and that's what they did. They renegotiated the length of the lease, but they took upfront money. And that's what happens when you balance with one-time money. In the school district, Brad Roy goes, well, charge them. Well, yeah, charge them. That'll help. Okay, but it's not going to talk about the next year.
Yeah, but you work in the industry. They stuck. I worked with a stupid union, 9 steel workers.
But once again, it goes back to binding arbitration. Okay, when they got something like that years ago, they're not going to give it back.
No.
And it's hard to argue when they argue, and then the arbitrator sits there and goes, "Well, Fairview has it, Mill Creek has it, so And that's how the game works. I mean, it's the same thing with police and fire. Because they're considered essential services. I mean, you can't have teachers walking off the job, so you give them binding arbitration, but that kind of means that whoever negotiates, in the case of the city, it's usually administration. In the case of the school board, it was the school board through the superintendent. But we would sit there and they would tell us what they wanted. We would tell them what we wanted to give them. If we came to a solution, fine. If we didn't, in comes the arbitrator. And you're not going to win. I can't remember the last time an arbitrator gave a good decision to a municipality. But at the end of the day, now you look at Erie, who's paying the bill?
We are.
But who's left? It's getting tougher and tougher, right?
I don't know what the city's going to be, and I hate to see who's going for mayor next time.
I mean, Brad lives in an area that's kind of shielded, protected.
Where's that, Fairview?
Wherever it is, yeah, he's got, things are going well, What do you think Pat Harkins feels like, or Flo Fabrizio? They look around, they see the city, the school district needs money, Union City needs money. They got a businesswoman raising money. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
The whole thing's embarrassment.
I mean, we could cut sports. I mean, they're not essential.
But we've had them all our lives.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, that's, Jay Badams, in his credit, was going to cut everything.
I tell you, guys doing a good job.
Because, you can't, what are you going to do? You can only cut so many teachers. Now, if they close the high school, there would be a lot of teachers losing their job. So, I mean, that's what I meant when I said charter schools. They cherry pick, but you can't shut a classroom down or a school or anything because your numbers are still. But charter schools, yeah, they've hurt. A lot of things have hurt. But
got 10 minutes here, buddy. Oh,
But outside of that, yeah,
You find out about the roads. We got to find out. I wonder if Marion's getting, Davidson's got. It's the only two.
Can you fill in or I go get that?
Yeah, I can fill in.
Now, don't say nothing.
What do you mean? You know me.
That's exactly.
You meet my brother Trump? Oh, okay. Anybody else got something to talk about? You people got to talk about something. The way the city's being run and everything. And we got this big raise, didn't we, on Social Security? $1.25, I think. Anybody out there know about that? They say we got like $1.25 cost of living. Am I right? Actually, I'm asking somebody out there that knows about it to speak up. But I tell you, city must be in great shape. People that you guys don't call and complain about nothing, but you complain to everybody else that's outside on the street. Oh, this is bad, this is bad. Well, open your mouth and start saying. We don't know your name, we don't know your face. Just come up and start talking. That's what this show is about. Taxpayer Hotline. What do you think it's bad with the city? I think some of you guys, I don't know. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hey, Ron, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Hey, I don't have no suggestions, but I've got a complaint. This bar on 3rd and French there, with all their outdoor patio, and they're taking up, 3/4, 7/8 of the sidewalk. And on the south end...
That's Filippi's bar.
Wait, what?
That's Filippi's bar.
Yeah, well, I know that. Then on the south end, they put a gate right across the sidewalk where you can't even walk down the damn sidewalk.
Well...
How does he get away with it? Then he got a sign, open for lunch. He puts it right in the handicap ramp on the curb cutout.
Well, we're gonna here. The boss is coming.
What's that about?
About down there on 3rd and French, the bar sticking way out, the patio and everything.
Is that the Sullivans?
Yes.
Yeah, I went by there the other day. I'm kind of surprised. I'm going to bring that up to engineering because I don't think it's. I know in the old days it was not within code.
Well, the thing is, on the south end of that conglomeration there, he has, sometime when there's a lot of people there, they put up one of those gates right across the sidewalk where you couldn't even walk down the sidewalk. He encloses the whole thing there. He puts a sign open for lunch sometime right on the handicap curb cutout. Or if a wheelchair went by, they can never get down there. And then you go by there. I don't frequent the place, but when I drive by there occasionally, and then they spill out in the street hollering at you, and it's really.
Where is it on the north side? He has a bunch of chairs, and then he puts them heading on the
west side.
The west side going north to south.
Yeah, on the west side, north and south, but on the south end of that thing, they put a gate, whoever does, right across, all the way across to the curb, where you couldn't even walk down the sidewalk. When they have a lot of people there.
Yeah, they're supposed to leave that open for what do you call it? Handicap accessibility.
Well, you could never get two wheelchairs down there. One was coming one way and one was going the other. There's not enough room. And not only that place, but a lot of them where they have those outdoor patios. I mean, the sidewalk spills out with people. I mean, you got to walk down, you got to dodge them, and and it's all of them.
Well, some of them, I'm going to tell you something, and I brought it up when I was controller, and I might have to bring it up again. A lot of them have not been approved by the engineering office.
Yeah.
They're supposed to go through a process. We don't charge them, but there's a process where the engineer will determine whether there's enough room to put tables and chairs, and then how far they can do it, and then they also have to get an insurance policy. On their insurance policy, they have to put a thing in there about the city's held harmless for anything that happens.
It's kind of out of hand now, then, the way it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if I put a table on my sidewalk and have a bunch of guys come over out there drinking beer, you think somebody frown on that? They're extending their business.
I'm not against putting tables and chairs out there.
I'm not either, but
as long as they do it the proper way. The first few, we get them every once in a while at council. We have to approve them, and the engineering department will come down and they'll tell us, this is the specs and this is where they can be. And at times people cheat. They kick them out a little bit more, a couple of feet. But you're right. And a lot of them, a couple of them I saw come up, I don't remember them coming through council for approval. So, yes, we got a problem. And I would tell you this. I think if you have anybody else that's complaining, that's willing to do it, feel free to come to a council meeting, but also feel free to call the administration, the mayor's office, and tell them you're not happy. That
that is an extension of their business.
Well, they're allowed to up to if we grant them the easement, as long as they do what the engineering department tells them, it's okay. But what they're doing is they're just they see one go up, so they put them all up.
Is there an ordinance?
Yes, there is. And they have to get what they call an easement from us.
Yeah, well, shouldn't the ordinance specify how far out they could go and how much room they should leave for people to walk?
I think it leaves it up to that's a moving target, because the engineer will tell you, the city engineer, that under ADA laws you have to have so much room. So what he has to do is he has to go up there and measure where the parking meters are, the telephone, because every sidewalk's a different width. And he has to make a determination if there's anything that would cause a problem that they couldn't have it.
He come out pretty far on the north side of that building there.
Well, they might. Well, I'll tell you off the air. I'll tell you who owns that.
I know who owns it.
Well, then you know why it really didn't.
No. And
you know what happened, right?
Side of the building, he's so far out, and there's a telephone pole right there too on the sidewalk, which cuts that area down. Like I said, if a wheelchair was going down through it, one was coming the other way, you'd never get by. And then they put the sign in the handicap curb cutout that it's open for lunch. Sometimes that sign is sitting there. And
that's why the city engineer on a street like that would have to come by and say, well, maybe you can't have the whole side of your building. You can have maybe so many feet, because we have to have an area radius where wheelchairs can turn, the public can walk. I mean, I watch them when I go to Cleveland a lot for near the ball games, and you can still walk and not get. But downtown Erie, I go down to the ballpark sometimes, and yep, you're right. They got.
Oh yeah.
And there's people in that business standing out there drinking on the sidewalk.
Yeah,
So I mean, you feel like, come on, keep it. That's if they want that, they have to control because the Commonwealth is very tough on liquor laws.
I don't know, but anyway, on the north side of that building on French Street they have an awning up there that's supported by pipes or columns or wherever, and that's a permanent structure. That's an extension of his building. When I put a deck on my house, I had to pay extra tax because that's an extension of my property.
I'll bring up your complaints, and I would tell you this. Make sure if anybody else has a problem with it, tell them, feel free to call council or the mayor or come to a meeting,
Yeah, okay.
But make sure the administration knows, because ultimately they're the ones that have to, go in there. And I'm going to bring it up at the next meeting, because I'm looking around. I'm not against them, but
neither am I.
But I don't want to see.
I have no problem with people making money, but when you infringe on the public sidewalk and you're riding by and people are spilling out in the streets and hollering, and you can't walk down the sidewalk without dodging people that are pretty well drunk sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have no problem with people making money. That's what America's all about. The more you make, the more happier I am, but you can't encroach on other people's right to walk down the sidewalk.
Do you remember Bertrand's restaurant?
Yeah.
He tried to do that, and he was like, oh man, they made things rough on him, and I'm going.
Well, there's no room there, really.
No, but they gave him. They measured it out. They gave him an easement, and he lived within it. He had to keep it pretty tight.
Sure.
But here's a guy that when you go there, all the people, they're just minding their own business, eating, and that I'm not against,
No.
But yeah, you have to kind of keep it, or like at Starbucks where they built their little patio.
Yeah.
They did that through us, and
Sure.
that's okay. People drinking coffee and stuff.
I have no problem. I'm not one to sit out on the sidewalk have a sandwich with flies jumping on my food, but people want to do it, let them do it.
But yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to look into it for you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Nice talking to you. Bye-bye.
Okay, I got your answer. Ready?
Dan.
All right. Before we go off the air, let's put it on hold. Okay, here's the answer to your question. You wanted what, Marion?
Yes.
I knew I just had it here. How about that? Time to
Davis between the two of them.
Time to send me packing. Can't find what I did. Let's see. Davidson, you said?
Marion, 38 to Grandview, and Davison from 37th to 33rd Street.
I just saw it on there. There's 2 Marions. Here it is. 4100 block and 3800 block.
Say what?
The 3800 block
That's 38th Street.
of Marion and the 4100 block.
That's only one block they're doing.
They had selective paving within that area.
The worst is going from there up.
Now, Davison, well, let me see if there's any more. See, some of these are being done by our guys. In that case, that's their paving, okay? Then we have contracted milling services,
Well, who's going to do Marion Street?
city.
Well, we can talk them into going to Grandview, have that street.
They'll, if they have money left over, they could.
Well, I'll talk to them. When that's going to, they have no date on that yet.
No, that's open to whenever they can get there. Now, the woman called me last week, wanted to know the number from Mr. Buchna from the Downtown
Yeah.
Improvement District. That number is 455-3743. That's 455-3743. And before we go off the air, I got to give a special birthday wish to my mother tomorrow.
She's, what, 39?
39.
Old and strong. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
91?
She won't tell, no, she's 90, but yep, she's a longtime Indian fan. She's still
going strong.
They're still going strong. So happy birthday, Mom, and see you later.
See you in 2 weeks. But not next, 4th of July is next Monday.
Yeah, we won't be here then, right?
Right.
Let's see, you wanted, okay.
Davison.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.